Well, good morning. Good morning, Miracle Center for Spiritual Living, on this wonderful sunny Sunday morning in Ohio, in Cleveland, Ohio, but I am in Medina County. Thank you, Gilbert, for that beautiful prelude of music for us. Thank you so much. I enjoy it. Enjoy you, appreciate you. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Lynette Horn, and I will be your practitioner for today. So, welcome everyone there in the sanctuary. Welcome to everyone on Zoom and by telephone, and even those out there who will join us later on YouTube. Welcome to Miracle Center Sunday morning service. And today is March 5th, 2023, and it is the first Sunday in March. So, our monthly theme for March is cultivating authenticity. And the weekly topic title is Everyone Else is Already Taken. So, with that, uh, please join me as I speak the invocation. So, just take a moment to center down and turn within. Turn within to that quiet, peaceful space within, and just turn towards God, that quiet, still place. Divine Spirit, beloved God, the one source, the first cause, the all in all, the all that is. This is our God. And this God we know is everywhere present. This God is all intelligent. This God is all powerful, the one power of love in and through all that is. And as we turn to this presence of God within us, God turns to us. And so I speak my word for blessings over this service. Speak my word for blessings to each and every one here in this service. For good health and wellness, well-being, and prosperity. And as this service unfolds, I just bless it as we all are moved within in our authentic space within us by the lessons, by the words spoken, by the messages received. And these messages will be received individually, as each of us are an individual in God, but as one in God. As the song says, we are one when we are all together, and we are one when we are all alone. And so, blessing this morning's service, blessing each and every one, blessing Reverend June that will bring us this message. We just open our hearts and minds and receive the love and the beauty and the joy of community in wholeness, in happiness, and in love. And so together we do say, and so it is. Amen. Okay, being the first Sunday of the month, Reverend June has said that we want to do our declaration of principles, and we say these out loud together. So I have the declarations of principles right here, and if you would, we'll start together and read together because I can't hardly hear everyone. Um, So I might lose my place, but I am using the declaration of principles that starts with I believe. I believe in God, the living Spirit, Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existent cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. The manifest universe is the body of God. It is the logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. I believe in the incarnation of spirit in man, and that all men are incarnations of the one Spirit. I believe in the eternality, the immortality, and the continuity of the individual soul forever and ever expanding. I believe that the kingdom of heaven is within myself, and that I experience this kingdom to the degree that I become conscious of it. I believe the ultimate goal of life to be a complete emancipation from all discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. I believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. I believe that God is personal to all who feel this indwelling presence. I believe in the direct revelation of truth through the through the intuitive and spiritual nature of man, and that any man may become a revealer of truth who lives in close contact with the indwelling God. I believe that the universal spirit, which is God, operates through a universal mind, which is the law of God, and that we are surrounded by this creative mind, which receives the direct impress of our thought and acts upon it. I believe in the healing of the sick through the power of this mind. I believe in the control of conditions through the power of this mind. And I believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the eternal givingness of life to all. I believe in my own soul, my own spirit, and my own destiny, for I understand that the life of man is God. And so it is. Well, now turning to the bulletin, if you all have the bulletin. It is often said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. It can feel scary and a risk to be authentic in a world that is trying to fit square pegs into round holes. It starts with know thyself. And we have a song called I'm Looking for a Miracle. Wow, that was really, I like that song. Thank you, Reverend June, for picking that. If you picked it, that was wonderful. The message was just so good, so good. So turning now to the monthly theme summary on your program. To live out loud means for us to fully express who we are and who we have come here to be. Throughout this month, we will explore the practice of cultivating authenticity, which empowers us to step into all areas of our life in integrity with our real authentic self. The summary of today's topic: it has been said, be yourself because everyone else is already taken. And while we may nod our heads in agreement, We find ourselves sacrificing ourselves in order to fit in and for others to like us and approve of us. Starting with our authentic self as an expression of the divine, we will explore a means for us to recover a consciousness of our wholeness. Science of Mind point of view. In our oneness with the one infinite reality, call it God, Spirit, Source, we are spiritual beings first. We are always in a process of becoming. For those of us who read Ernest Holmes, for those of us who read the Science of Mind magazine and follow the teachings of Ernest Holmes, we know that we are at our essence. We know that who we are at our essence and in our core is divine spirit. And that's from the Science of Mind magazine, March 2023. So, with that all said, it's time to introduce our beloved Reverend June Clark, who's giving us a message. Am I authentic? Reverend June, let's give her a hand.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Lynette. This one's interesting. It's an interesting start to, I'll say spring, because even if we get some snow in Cleveland, which we've had just a little of, it still feels like spring is just around the corner. And next week, the time changes. So we're well on our way to spring. And this particular lesson this month is very, very, what did I say, self-absorbed. And I have a lot of information here in the bulletin. I'm going to try not to bird walk off on other subjects because I really felt very deeply that this particular beginning of this month's lessons is a good start for our springhood as we move forward in life. And I haven't read any of the lessons for the rest of the month, because when I do that, I start talking about things too early. And then when it's time to talk about them, I've already talked about them. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to stick with this week's lesson. And authentic is an interesting word. Very, I guess, judgmentally. What do we say? Of course I'm authentic. I am who I am. And someone that I used to know would say, I am what I am and I ain't no iser. So I don't know what the iser was, but we definitely am what we are. And that is God expressing 90, not even 99, 100% of the time. So authentic is how one sees it, how one feels about that word, whatever is just a word. So we're going to start with the first word that I circled and underlined here, and it's cultivating. That's what we're doing this morning. We're cultivating newness and awareness of who we are, and the we as a whole, and certainly the we as an individual. And that individuality creates what affects the whole. But it must be that the individual is accepting of, happy with, willing to assist this authenticity to grow and to expand and to be recognized every single moment of who we are. Maybe you think that when you were, of course, it's probably true, a child. There's the expression, when I was a child, I thought as a child, I did as a child, et cetera, et cetera. As we move up the number of years of being, perhaps when we get to the age that most of us are within the sound of my voice, I think it would apply to all of us, that we think we're pretty well, cured, as in food being cured. It's done. It's pasteurized. It's reached its perfection. So therefore, it can be served. It can be eaten. It can be admired. But going back to this very first word, cultivating. What are you cultivating about yourself? What am I cultivating about myself that creates a newness and a difference and a welcome change? Authentic, yes, at this point, this breath. What about all the yet to be? Do you want to, or did you want to? I mean, these are silly questions, but did you want to stay 5 years old? At 5, of course, perhaps. When you were, say, in your 40s, was that a mighty good year? Like good wine, it ages to a point where it's just excellent. Maybe it was, did you want to stay there? Were you authentic then? What about 60s? All probably just all grown up and so proud of yourself and really authentic. What about 70? What about 80? What about 90? If any of these numbers, what about 100? If any of these numbers are within the sound of and the number of your growth pattern, just check back with yourself and see, were you authentic or not? And cultivating, and it's an ing word, so to me, it's a moving forward word. So whatever number that you choose that you want to think that you are authentic, if it's the number that is your number right this moment, right this breath, it's okay too. But are you cultivating? Cultivating authenticity is not becoming something other than who you are. Other than who you are. And I would put an extra note on that. Who you are at this moment, at this time, with this breath. It's not about becoming something other than who you are right this second. Rather, it involves us in releasing those patterns of thought, attitudes, and actions that act as barriers to us standing in our personal truth and power. That sentence alone is enough, I hope, to awaken you to this now moment, to every moment, every breath in your future. Some of these key words here: releasing those patterns. How many of us are doing the same old, same old? I'm not saying it's good. I'm not saying that it's not good. Just saying, think about it. And those patterns are of thought, attitudes, and actions. Thoughts, attitude, and actions. Now, this information says, and actions that act as barriers, another key word, barriers. Last I thought about it would be barriers, say, around the White House. It's an easy example. Barriers around the White House. It used to be that you could walk up onto the lawn of the White House. Now you got to go through armed guards and big white things out there in the street so the cars don't get too close, big fences, barriers, blocking something out. So go back to the beginning of the sentence here. Rather, it involves us in releasing those patterns of thought, attitudes, and actions that act as barriers to us standing in our personal truth and power. Now, the joy about that to me is the word personal. Nobody else can do me like I can do me. Thank goodness. Because there are several things that if you were like me, you would probably say, she's a little loony. There are some things about me that you might say, oh, that's wonderful to be that way. Oh. But you really wouldn't know it because you never can be me. What was that sentence back there? I'm already taken. I'm me. I'm already taken. Fortunately or unfortunately, and this may be true of you too, maybe not to the nth degree, but my sister and I look a lot alike. We're a year and 3 weeks apart. When a person saw one, they weren't sure that they were seeing the other. I never thought we looked that much alike, especially when we were kids, but that's the way it was. So what people saw was what they think they saw, but they didn't see really what they think they saw. And then to the nth degree, they really didn't see what they think they saw because one cannot really know another. It's enough knowing yourself. So all of that comes into play under this type of lesson today. And by taking up this practice, we develop courage to be vulnerable, to stand in that truth. So if you can go back, I go back to the word release. If you can release yourself, your thought patterns, your awarenesses, the old pictures in your head, the old words that have been said to you, if you go back to that, and by taking up this practice, we develop courage to be vulnerable, to stand in that truth. So the truth is cultivating authenticity. This month, we will explore parts of the practice for authenticity, living out loud. And actually, when I think about it, or I think about myself, there would have been a time prior to Science of Mind, if I had not become aware of the Science of Mind teachings, what can I say? I really don't know. I really don't know because it didn't happen. I did find Science of Mind teachings, but I don't think I would be enjoying life the way I am right now. And that's an assumption. That's a judgment. That's cultivating old thoughts and rehashing old stuff. But I do believe it's the truth. So back to the bulletin. Each one of us is a unique expression of the divine. How many times have we said that? How many of us know that? We know that, we know that, and we know it. Each one of us is a unique expression of the divine, and what stands between our authentic expression of who we are truly and how we show up is a collection of thoughts, patterns of belief, and attitudes. I got mine, you got yours, all God's children got them. We've all got them, otherwise we would not actually probably be listening to me or some other science of mind pattern thinker. But once you get into this cultivating of yourself through science of mind, I personally believe that it never goes away and it's never lost. And I guess it's the same way with my Catholicism. It's still within me, but it makes me a better science of mind learner because I have learned about other faiths and beliefs, but this one right now is supreme. So I'm still cultivating, still growing, still moving forward. And all these things back here, up here, by taking up this practice, we develop courage to be vulnerable. Boy, oh boy, there was a time I didn't have any courage at all. To stand in the truth. There was a time when I didn't stand in the truth. Show up as a collection of thoughts, patterns, beliefs, and attitudes. I always showed up, but some of those beliefs and attitudes were not the highest and the best in what serves me now. And I'm cultivating what serves me now to be even better and better and better for myself, which in turn will be better for those around me and for the planet. So it's about the individual, but yet it's about the individual I that is we. That's a quote from my sister, Reverend Leora Nash. The I that is we. Isn't that wonderful? The I that is we. So let me get my eye back to where we need to be. Those that we have come to through our own living of life and those handed to us by others. Well, let me read the whole thing because it doesn't rhyme right. Each one of us is a unique expression of the divine, and what stands between our authentic expression of who we are truly and how we show up in a collection of thoughts, patterns of belief, and attitude. Those we have come to through our own living of life and those handed to us by others. There's a lot of folks handing out a lot of stuff. Parents, teachers, religions, the media, and the world. A lot of pamphlets floating around just out of the blue. Opinions about every single thing, including yourself and myself. Opinions of others. On to the next. Through exploring our own inner life with compassion and practicing gratitude and acceptance of who we are. If you do not accept who you are, I don't believe that all these opinions and teachers and ministers and parents and children and whoever else, if you don't accept who you are, you're accepting who everybody else thinks you ought to be. And being a wise person, being accepting of others, to be able to cultivate through your own mind about how you react or what you'll take on or what you'll totally ignore or what you won't even hear, because there are things that will happen. My friend, Reverend Beverly, she told me a long time ago, you will be in a group and there will be chatter and somebody say, well, what do you think about that, June? And June would say, I don't know, what are you talking about? You see, there are things you will not even pick up on that are said because they're not for you. They're not within your belief system. And I have learned that that is true. We discover a freedom that comes from releasing the pressure to be who we are not. The pressure of who we are not. Why bother? If that's not what you want, if that's not what you like, if that's not who you think you are, why bother? Self talking to self. You know, these lessons are only this, my opinion and my expression to you. You have to take it in and kick it around and smooth it around and kiss it and bless it or throw it out completely for yourself. I have a little sentence I wrote in here. I hope I can read it. Hold to the newness. Scary. Hold to the newness. Scary. Oh, stay. Hold to the newness. Stay the course. You must be cracking open. I know how that is. I know how that is. And there are times when it feels like, am I losing? You say, am I losing my mind? Your mind is an invisible part of you. So in essence, you feel maybe sometime like you're losing yourself. And that's okay. It's okay. Because when the cracking open happens, it's like that seed that we read about a couple of weeks ago, that something comes forth and blesses you and becomes a part of you that you never knew you had that strength within you. So it's okay. It is inscribed, know thyself. And this is where we must begin in cultivating authenticity. Through self-inquiry, journaling, therapy, spiritual practices, and study, we create space within to awaken from domestication. It's in an article about how domesticated we become. Almost sounds like somebody's talking about dogs or wild animals or something. But basically, that is the influence of something else that is the nature of the beast, so to speak. Not that we are beasts, but we become domesticated through preschool nowadays, all the way through our upbringing, all the way through our schooling. We're being fed stuff. And then your religious beliefs become very, very important. I would say more important. It did, at least for me as an adult, to move from one domestication to another. And right now, I am, what would you say? Well, I have learned how to live differently through science of mind. And it's okay. I've moved forward. And to get to know who we are instead of who we are supposed to be. And that supposed to be is according to who? According to what? We discover that our light has been hidden behind erroneous beliefs and identities that have been picked up along our life journey, which cause us to shrink back from living out loud. I think that this lesson this week is just, it's more than a lesson. It's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to, I don't care what number birthday you're on, to be a new 1-year-old, to be a pre-1-year-old, to cultivate yourself to who you want to be. We've already had those years gone. What? Why worry about all of those? Because there are so many more ahead of us. And do you want to be the same as you have been? And again, I don't mean that to be that you have not been perfect, but you can cultivate. You can cultivate. I already have green leaves coming up where my iris plants show up with their deep, deep purple, almost black, beautiful flowers. So they've been under all that mushy dirt and all those leaves and all those papers and stuff that I haven't picked up away from them yet. But they're under there. So think about what's under you, what's under your skin, what's under your beingness, what's your future. And if you look at your age and you double it, are you going to be here listening and thinking as long as you've been here thinking and doing what we do, growing and growing and growing? It's a thought. It's a thought. Oh, I'm going to skip that. Oh, that was, I'm not going to read the compassion itself, but there's a reference here to this thing called You. And that's one of the most wonderful books that you can read about the you and the I and the we. So I'm going to move on quickly here. You are a unique expression. We've already said that. Embracing all of ourselves, the parts we like, the parts we have been told not to like, opens us to grace and compassion for ourselves. I like that. The parts we have been told not to like. The only really one that can judge and tell you what you don't like about yourself is you. I won't even begin to start there on myself, but if there's parts about you that you don't like, kind of give them a chance. Take them out and hang them out to dry for a little bit or to get some fresh air. Maybe they're the most wonderful part that you have. I don't know. But don't give up on yourself, I guess is what I'm saying. Life is not asking us to be something other than ourselves. It is this self that longs to be revealed and seen. Sometimes the most spectacular parts of us, we're so afraid to admit that we're good at or that we even believe in them that we just stomp them down and stomp them down. But they're there. So check them out. Create courage, deciding to be vulnerable. Difficult for me, maybe easy for you. I don't like to be criticized. I choose to feel like a little girl, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. It is not possible to be seen if we hide. It is not possible to belong if we do not welcome others into the circle. And others to me means just our own perspective of our own self. And others is other people and other thoughts and other readings and other religions and other music, and just branching out. Because if you're so aware of who you are, you can be anywhere and do anything and still be you and be comfortable. I do believe the reason that I was always so comfortable around other races of people, and I mean races like heritage, different heritage, etc., is because of where I grew up, when I grew up. In the neighborhood house here was this, and the neighborhood house there was that, and that, and that, and that. And when I joined Girl Scouts, we did stuff with these people and that people and all those people. And then by the time I got to high school, it was such a community of people, of different this and different that. And then when I moved on, literally out of Catholicism, I moved into other church beliefs and experimented and went to different churches. Yet I still was sound and stood in my own power when it came to becoming a religious science. I took all the good stuff, I cultivated it out, and I brought it with me. And what I didn't bring with me, that I learned that I could change my thinking, change my life, I shifted and cultivated again and again and again, and still continue to do so. So now I'm who I am at this moment. And the joy of that is the cultivation still going on. Going to be more. I think I'm on pretty good time here, so I can read. Living out loud authentically will bring us to our growing edge. Isn't that nice? Our growing edge. I was talking to somebody, a group that I'm in, and I was sharing this thought, and we were talking about ageism. It said different kinds of things, and how we share about ourselves. And I will share this because I've shared it before. I said, it's interesting. I find it interesting that when I'm in a group and we're sharing about health, and I'm willing to say, I had cancer, and then when it comes time to share your age, I don't want to share my age. Okay, now, which is really more personal? I mean, think about it. So it will bring us to the edge of our comfort zone. What you choose to tell about yourself, maybe it sounds stupid, but that was kind of one of my awakenings, awarenesses. Don't ask me how old I am. Courage is what keeps us moving through the valley of the shadow of death. Death is an interesting word. Whew. Just an interesting word. And I'm going to play a little bit of the song, and then I'm going to have our reader come up.
Your soul belongs to the universe. Your mind is an outlet through which the creative intelligence of the universe seeks fulfillment. That's from Ernest Holmes' This Thing Called You, page 4.2. Man is made out of and from life. As an effect, must partake of the nature of its cause, so man must partake of the divine nature from which he springs. We did not create our nature. We cannot change its inherent reality. We are what we are, and we use this nature for better or for worse. From Ernest Holmes, The Science of Mind, the definitive edition, page 107. For the soul's communication of truth is the highest event in nature, since it then does not give somewhat from itself, but it gives itself or passes into and becomes that man whom it enlightens, or in proportion to that truth he receives, it takes him to itself. That's from Emerson, the Oversoul. Authenticity is the daily practice of letting go of who we think we're supposed to be and embrace who we are. That's Brené Brown, The Gifts of Imperfection, page 50. Courage is a heart word. The root of the word courage is cor, the Latin word for heart. In one of its earliest forms, the word courage meant to speak one's mind by telling all one's heart. Brené Brown, Gifts of Imperfection, page 12. When we dare to drop the armor that protects us from feeling vulnerable, we open ourselves to the experiences that bring purpose and meaning to our lives. Brené Brown. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. Carl Gustav Jung. And so it is. So it is.
Thank you, Laverne. Let's see, we'll go to our call to action. It starts with getting to know yourself. Self with a capital S means God, God's self. Self-inquiry and spiritual practices are bringing awareness around what is happening within us in our reactions to both internal and external stimuli. They help us to get in touch with our thoughts and feelings, which is necessary to living a conscious life. Being in a spiritual community and surrounding ourselves with people we trust we trust also supports our journey of cultivating authenticity, giving us opportunities to be vulnerable and to be a witness to others. Emerson wrote that imitation is suicide. To live a life as someone other than your authentic self is not to live your life. It is a practice of being real as we grow to love and approve of ourself. It is you being authentically you because everyone else is already taken. And as we move into these words of cultivation of who we are. And it's, oh my goodness, God is an awesome God. And he reigns and he reigns and he reigns. As us, not just the us within the sound of my voice, but this world that has at times the appearance of whatever word you want to bring forth. I will bring the knowingness and the awesomeness of God. And that is all there is. We, I, you are one with it and of it. And therefore we demand through our God consciousness self, whatever it is, the we of the I of the we of us is our heart's desire. Don't hold on to what is uncomfortable, what is gnawing at you, preventing you from cultivating into joy, into peace, into health, into prosperity. All those beautiful and awesome qualities of God that we are. Cultivate those things. Think on these things. Be of the nature of God. Be of the heart of God, for that is who we are. Whatever the issue, be it health, know that you are healthy. Know that whomever comes to your mind that has a thought or a seeming condition that is not perfect health, know that the perfect health is the truth, no matter the appearance. If there is an issue of financial lack, there is no lack in God. The prosperity, the truth of abundance is the truth. Love, certainly love abounds in our lives, in those that are around us, are with us. Why not? If this is not your truth, go find some love. Just open your eyes, open your heart, open your ears, open your beingness. Be the God that you are. And in this authentic month that is coming up, this authenticity, this cultivation, this awareness opening, you may feel like you're cracking, but it's a good thing. Whatever comes out means that something good and wondrous is replacing it. Enjoy your life. Enjoy your beingness. Take each breath as we take a breath now and we move forward into this new cultivated self. I bless it all. I welcome it all. And I know it is the truth. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. And amen. So it's back to Lynette to bring us our closing. And thank you for being with us this morning.
Well, thank you, Reverend June, for that beautiful prayer treatment. She certainly covered all the good areas. Thank you so much for that beautiful message. So we have we got our work to do this month, and I'm thankful for this month's theme, that the cultivating authenticity, that I will certainly delve into this and look into this and see what cracks me open. But that's all kind of the getting ready for the Easter, the eggs, the cracking open, the all that wonderful newness of life that is resurrecting and coming. So thank you so much for that beautiful message. So if there's any, let's see, any announcements, just the announcement that's on the bulletin here. Remember to set your clock back next Saturday, or forward. It's forward. So daylight savings time begins March 12th, and set your clocks 1 hour forward at bedtime Saturday, March 11th. So you'll be sure to be on time for Sunday service next Sunday. So if there's, I know there'll be some new announcements to come in the next coming week, so stay tuned. So please join me now as I speak the benediction and to conclude this morning's service. So just settle down, turn within, and center in. Take a deep breath. Divine Spirit, we just give thanks for this morning's service. We give thanks for our own cultivating our authenticity lessons. And we give thanks for this community and the I that are we giving thanks for our good health and well-being, giving thanks for our prosperity, for our individual lives, and for our community, our church community that is so abundant in love, and are growing our financial well-being also, and growing our community in love, joy, peace, health, and prosperity. I just give thanks for each and every one of us here that we had this time to share together. And as we move through next week until we meet again, bless you all and know that you are loved. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Well, this concludes this morning's service. Thank you for being here, being with us. And I think they're going to sing the peace song in the sanctuary.